Thank you so much for joining or joining again. This is my latest video in my beginner's workshop series on meditation, so it's great to have you. This is a channel where you can learn the foundations of mindfulness practice, get tips on the ins and outs of meditation, and no matter what your level, you can meditate with me. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. If there's anything I didn't cover in the video today, please go ahead and leave me a comment below or send me a DM on Instagram. And if there's anything you get out of the video, please go ahead and share with your friends, give it a like, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I am aiming to get to 1,000 subscribers in this first month, so your support really means a lot to me, and I'm sure that together we can make it happen. So thank you so much in advance. Today we're going to be looking at the topic of supports to your practice. So we've gone over what is the foundational practice, what is the posture, how do we work with specific things such as anxiety, and if we're kind of getting more deeply into our practice, it's like, well, what do we do to make it easier for ourselves? What do we do to kind of create a culture in our lives to keep it going? And there's a number of things that we can do, luckily, to help ourselves. So the first thing that I really encourage is to create a dedicated space in your home or office, in case you're meditating there. Wherever it is that you want to do your meditation practice, is go ahead and carve out a space that you're always going to meditate there. And why is that important? To me, it's a way of creating a statement in your life, in your psychology, that, no, this is something I'm doing, this is something that's important to me, and I'm actually gonna, create literal space, but also a mental space in my life to be able to engage in this new habit and to keep it going. The other thing is with that, if you can't, if you live in a tiny place, or maybe you have tons of roommates or whatever, if it's something that can't always be sort of standing there as a standalone, then that's okay. But just have a kind of a setup where you're always going to that same location and maybe bringing the same items with you and when you set up, because I think that helps you kind of create this ritual or this habit of going to sit down and practice. What kind of things are you going to have in that space? I actually went ahead and created a list of basic products that you would use for meditating. There's all this kind of terminology which I won't get into, but basically like the floor cushion, the meditation cushion that you're actually going to sit on. There are other kind of auxiliary things which are not necessarily necessary, but they can be a really nice addition to your practice, such as incense, bowls, chimes, that sort of thing. The only thing I'll say is, make sure that your focus is actually always on the practice. Sometimes it can be better maybe to wait a little bit before you start including all of this other stuff, because maybe it just feels more like shopping, or maybe that helps you, whatever works for you. But one thing I definitely will say is, if it seems expensive for you at this time, or if it seems like kind of too much of an investment or just too complicated, then definitely don't even worry about it. Just wait, wait till it feels right. Wait till you have more money so that you can invest in that. And in the meantime, just use things around the house. Hopefully you have some cushions or some pillows that you can sit on, some blankets you can put on the floor if the floor is hard. Same thing goes for basically everything else that you might need. So don't be afraid to improvise. This is not about getting the fanciest stuff, and actually in a way it's the opposite. We want to make sure that our practice is based on our own motivation and our own inspiration, not just going out and buying stuff. That said, part of that space is your shrine, which I think is in a way a really important and maybe the most important part of it. It's up to you what you want to put on that shrine or that altar, if you even want to have one at all. But generally it's things that will sort of uplift you, encourage you. It can be like I said, incense, a chime to start and end your sessions, and also sometimes a picture of a teacher, maybe the Buddha, of any kind of spiritual teacher maybe that you like, or it can even be a personal contact or a teacher that's someone who just inspires you to maybe to be better, or to inspires you to remind you of why are you meditating, what's your aspiration in all of this. So just some things to think about in terms of when you're creating your meditation space of things you might want to include. The next tip I have is that you want to use your social support as a way to encourage you to practice. And I see it as you can do it in two ways. First is if you have friends who are also interested in meditating. Maybe you have friends who are already meditating, and you can kind of tap into their practice and say, hey, I've got questions, or maybe I can sit with you. Can I join you sometimes? Or maybe someone who's also new and say, hey, let's watch this guy's channel, or let's read a book, or let's take a workshop. Whatever it is. It certainly doesn't have to be just with me, but I would love that, of course. But whatever encourages you, and if you can have some buddies to do it with, that's also very helpful. And the other, on the flip side, if it's maybe someone you're not going to actually practice with, that maybe it's someone that you can just tell who's a good friend or a mentor, that you can say, hey, you know what, I'm trying this thing, it's new to me, I'm a little intimidated, but I'm going to try to meditate every day, or I'm going to try to meditate once a week, and I just want to let you know so I can check in with you about it, or maybe you feel free to ask me how it's going. And that kind of social support can really go a long way, because our loved ones are the supports in our life, and also because we have a need to be consistent as people. So if we tell someone like, hey, I'm starting this, then we're gonna have that little reminder maybe when we feel lazy, or when we feel like we don't have time, to go ahead and stay on the wagon, and to keep trying, and to maybe give a little more effort, so that when they do ask us, we can have that satisfaction of saying, yes, I'm doing it every day, and it's not easy, but thanks for asking, because it's part of helping me get there. So it's definitely something you want to be able to tap into, and and why not? And why not let people know who you're close to, about what's going on in your life. The third thing is finding teachings that are sort of appropriate for your level or for your interest. What is it that made you get into meditation, and who do you think you could learn from to help you? Again, that's what this channel is here for, is to help you do just that. I did include a number of books in my list here in the description for the video, so definitely check out those. They're really useful, powerful books, things that really inspired me to get along, to progress along the spiritual path, or the path of meditation. But whatever it is for you, and a lot of my background is in Buddhism, and a lot of meditation practice is steeped in Buddhism, but there's absolutely different ways that you can meditate in the contemplative forms of Christianity, or Hinduism, or Judaism, or whatever. And the great thing also about meditation is it doesn't have to be at all tied to any kind of a specific religion. And that said, many people don't consider Buddhism a religion. I don't particularly either. But regardless of that kind of religious, political thing, or whatever it could be, just looking for what could inspire you, and particularly how can you deepen your knowledge and your practice, because there's people who've done this for lifetimes, and there's people who have lots of community support around it, and we want to be able to tap into that, and kind of gain some of their knowledge and benefit from that dedication that they have to the practice. So let's do that together. And the last thing that I would suggest is finding a schedule to support you in your practice. So, it doesn't have to be a specific time of day, but, if it's something like, hey, I want to start my mornings off with the meditation, kind of, ground myself, remind myself of, what am I trying to do with my life, and that sort of thing, then go for it. If it's something at night where it's like, hey, I want to, my days are really crazy, I want to wind down, I want to find a way to find more relaxation before bed, then try that. So there's no right answer. And also part of that schedule and part of that timing is how long or how often are you looking to meditate? And also how long as well. But I'd say more importantly is, are you looking to meditate every day? Are you looking to meditate every other day, 3 times a week, once a week? Again, there's no right answer, but whatever it is, it's good to kind of create a decision and create a standard of like, okay, this is what I'm going for. And that way with time we can say, okay, like, how's that going? Am I still interested in doing it at that frequency, or is it less? Or, I really wanted to and I've just been like dropping the ball. So how do I, leverage some of that other support to get me there? So that's all I've got, guys. Those are the 4 supports that I really recommended. That we recommend is, first, a dedicated space. Second, using your social support. Third, kind of tapping into some legitimate teachings or some greater teachings from whatever tradition that inspires you. And 4, a schedule where you can kind of stick with or encourage yourself to stick with. That said, we're going to go ahead and just sit for about a minute together, because that's what we do here at Meditate with Me. And so just go ahead and find your comfortable seat, allowing yourself to tap into your body and feel yourself sitting there. And as you notice those sensations in your body, just allowing yourself, your focus, to go to your breathing. And just noticing the sensations in each breath. And the heart of the practice is when we find ourselves distracted from our breath, that we just very gently bring ourselves back. When we find ourselves thinking, worrying, remembering, whatever it could be, just coming back to the breath. And the last breath here. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got something out of the video. Let me know, are these good supports? What are the ones that you most use? Are there other ones maybe that I didn't think of that are really good for you? I'm sure there's many more that I didn't list. And just let me know. So I'll hear from you soon. And thank you so much for being part of the channel. And I will see you next time.